Hey there, welcome back. Today I'm going to carry on and do a little bit more problem solving with the app we're working on at the moment. Just going to run the app again. I noticed a fairly major little usability issue to do with little hack I came up with earlier for the two-player preferences option. So where I've got the color preferences down here for the player number 2, player number 1, when we flip our preferences, it works really nice. It faces the other player, but the dialog goes to the wrong part of the screen when they go to enter their name. So I'm thinking, instead of flipping the entire widget, I might just flip some components of it. So we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to take this rotated box that flips it if it's more than 2 players, and also 90 degrees if it's 90 degrees if it's more than 2 players, and flips it if it's the player on this side of it. So I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to remove that widget. So now when we edit the top player, it works, but everything's still facing the wrong way. So my strategy is to take the individual components, so wrap with widget, and we'll make the contents, if we can, rotate. And that's not quite doing it. Let's try finding, maybe it's this row here. There we go. So now we're flipping that. That's curious. We're only flipping the first row. What about the next row? Can we do all the rows together somehow? How about this one? That's all the actions. Maybe we do just need to do each row. Now, the real question is, how wrong will this look if the player name is rotated when we type into it? Oh, lost it. I like how that looks more, but it's still does feel wrong once you start typing, to have to type upside down. Looks good over here, of course. I think I might be happy enough to leave that for next time I test on the phone and see how that feels from a usability standpoint. It's certainly better than not being able to see the field we're typing into. So we'll keep that for the moment. So the next thing I thought I might do would be to look at where we currently save the user's name. How about actually saving their color preferences and globe choices? So when I reload, it would be nice if it came back in purple if I'd selected purple last time. So it's the player image variable. We'll want to use our load preferences. And so that's the bit where we grab the player name. So player image. So we'll save it to a player image number there. And actually we'll keep the defaults we're generating on startup if there is none saved. Oh, we're missing a closing bracket or two there. So that now should load saved choices of the coloured load, but it's not yet saving them. So we're going to want to recycle some of the shared preferences code we have when we save. So this is the okay. Now I did experiment earlier with trying to flip states on the keyboard when text was being edited, but that didn't work very well. So don't need to worry about that code there. Make sure that still works. That's all happy. Let's fix the preferences up here. Cool. So this here is the code we're using to save the player's name. Now we want to use that same code in an async function when we change the life or the player color or player image. Player image. So it's in the player image button code. Player image button. So this here is where we set the player image to the new color. And if we make this an async function, we can then set the player image, and we're just using the word player in this function, and we set it to the image name. That should do that one. So now when we set this to be yellow, that's curious. Callback return to future. Okay, so this is telling us we're better off doing the setting here before the set state. Let's try that. Green, yellow. Now if we rerun the app to get our loading screen, it loaded yellow. Perfect. Now that is interesting. It does take a moment to load our preferences and realize we're supposed to use yellow. I wonder if we want to call our load preferences a little bit earlier if possible. Should we do the preferences in a set state? Or can we avoid that? Interesting. I wonder if that's an emulator speed issue or if that's going to be a problem generally. The other option is we don't display the globe states at all if they have a blank background. That's going to be an interesting one to solve. Now, the other thing is saving preferences. How do I save a color? Let's have a look at what a color looks like in Dartpad. Color dot to string dot green. How does that need? That might be a very Flutter specific. Material.dart, that probably won't let me. No longer giving errors, but still not printing anything. Trick is we can get a color to a string, but how do we get it back from a string? Okay, so color has a toString. Does it have a from string? We can do colors as ints. So we want the color.value, and then we want to create a color from an int. Okay. So let's just start on our load preferences. So if we were to load colors, we're going to get an integer. From the player colors variables. Otherwise, we're just going to return our placeholder ones. In the palette colors, so it's color. That's the integer. Oh no, we actually want to do that the other way around. Color from the integer from the save value. So that should successfully load colors. Now again, where we have the set string, saving the player colors, or player images, we want the same saving on saving colors. So I want to do it in here. This needs to be async. Now, the color has to be the player color dot value. And it's not a set string, that's a set int. Okay, so in principle, if I make this black and this white and restart the program, it should load with those colors. Nope. Method was called on null. And load preferences. if we do the magical restart. Because this does feel like we're doing exactly the same thing, except with integers instead of colours. I wonder if it gets unhappy casting colour there if this is a null result. So maybe we need to cast it to a colour over the whole thing, but get the value of the colour. That sounds like a roundabout problem there, but I suspect our handling of this being null was not working when we tried to make it a colour. But now this handles this to be null and falls back to this. We're able. I'll try and run that again. Oh, we need to turn that on. There we go. Okay, let's try make that grey and run the app. Not quite. Yet that part there does seem to be happy. But we're no longer getting errors here, where we were getting errors before. Does appear to be doing the right thing. Stop. Run. I wonder if my casting or assuming colours work this way is faulty. So if I go .value and colour, is that going to carry on working? That should do the exact same thing. It's working on the principle we're using. It definitely still works. set int player colors. There's nothing spelt wrong there. Player colors, and if that fails, then we return that. It's baffling. It's working with strings, but it's not working with integers seemingly. What other settings are we using that are in integers that might be interesting to test that on? We could do it on starting life, or player count even. That one might be a mystery for another day. Must admit I'm a bit stumped at the moment. It's working perfectly for the background, but not for the colour. All good. I think we'll stop there for the day, and yeah, we'll see what's going on next time. That's all the coding we're doing for today. Catch you later.